Hello.
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 Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Hello, aloha.
What up, Cass?
What's going on, Sean?
We're back at it again.
Another transmission from Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've done a good amount of transmissions from up here this year. Wild fucking year. Winding it down, 2022. Best year of my life.
You always think it's not going to happen, but then it does, and you're like, holy shit, that was a good one.
It's crazy. I need to learn how to appreciate more in the moment because I appreciate it so much when I look back. But in the moment, I sometimes feel like I can be in a little bit of a scramble mode. I wanna enjoy my life.
Yeah, we started a practice, I don't know, 7 years ago where we would, at the end of the year, be like, let's think of like, at the time we were just like, mostly going to shows. Let's think of all the shows we saw this year.
Yeah.
And then our life got more interesting. It's like, let's think of all the parties we had with our friends. And then it was like, let's think of all the trips we had and
Yeah.
psychedelic trips and I don't know, movies we made. And
Yeah, it's cool. At the end of the year, like, last couple days of the year, we'll go through our calendar and be like, let's just list all the things we did this year and just relive those memories and talk about it a little bit. Pay tribute.
yeah, I think it's good to have an appreciation. Like before you go to bed, even just like on a microcosmic level, be like, okay, wake up, ask the universe for some like fun surprises. And then at the end of the day, be like, damn, like this fun thing happened.
Yeah,
This fun thing happened.
It's crazy. We did a prayer, I don't know, a few weeks ago or something like that for that. Sometimes a lot of times we're like, oh, we're scared. We need financial stability. Please bless us with some financial stability right now. But we did one week where we were like, let's have this week be full of surprises. And it was. I don't even remember what happened. But like, hey, can some cool things maybe drop out of the ethers, please? And
We're open.
No,
We're
you know what
open.
happened was some investors came to us for Wild
Holy
Magic.
shit, yeah.
Yeah. A new movie we're going to make next year called Wild Magic.
Yeah, that we're keeping more details on the DL.
We'll keep the details on the DL, but these are our people.
Yeah.
These are our people.
It's not
but
like a press release or anything.
No. It's going to be our magnum opus. That's what you said right away. And I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it makes me so excited that we chose filmmaking as our path. To get to a place where you could make a magnum opus, not just like, I'm just trying to make this thing make sense. I'm just trying to find an audience. I'm just trying to get into a film festival. I'm just trying to get my first film under my belt or like whatever. Like that we've made this, that we've practiced this art form so many times that we could achieve a magnum opus.
Yeah, we've been thinking a lot about creativity lately and art and what's it about and what are the intentions, what are the goals, what defines success. And like I think you have to define success for yourself, and luckily there's like the people we probably most respect have kind of bucked the system, because the reality is that when you play to the rules, like more constraints come on you as far as like how long can your film be, what kind of approach do you need to take. And I feel like freer than we've ever been still because like the commitment to that. And I feel like the juice just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
It started off great, like being like, oh, well, we're like alternative and independent and we're going to do whatever the fuck we want. But like committing to that and then never really straying and then seeing how it like evolves and shifts because of that and where we can go. And you can say some wild idea to me and I'm like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Well, because we can see it. We could see how it would come together based on our past work. We needed to build to this point.
Yeah, and we don't have fear steering the wheel of like, oh, well, what if this doesn't get accepted into Sundance? Then where are we? That's not that's unfortunately this trap that a lot of filmmakers find themselves in.
Absolutely. To me, it's almost the opposite. I'm like, if Sundance would accept this, I'm not doing my job. I'm not moving this art form ahead because the way I see it is like the type of stuff that's going to be really groundbreaking isn't going to be recognized by some festival programmer. I'm sorry. I don't think that they're going to, like, for me, this might not apply because to a lot of other films, but the films I want to make, I want to be pushing forward in such a way that it wouldn't even be acceptable to any film festival.
Yeah, it's so funny. I was just saying to you before we got on here about how like the musicians we love the most, like what I want from them a lot of times is like not the overly produced thing, but like their demos.
Oh yeah.
And I
Yeah,
feel like that's
oh,
the
yeah.
kind of territory we're playing with is like being like, we're going to give it to you and we're going to give it to you real raw.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we can,
Yeah.
you know. Why
Real
not?
honest.
Why not? Get loose. Yeah. We just finished a film.
Yeah, we're super excited about it.
I'm more proud of this than I've been of anything I've done in a long time.
Yeah, we might seem a little confident right now because we're pregnant and we're about to deliver and
Yeah.
what the baby like we already know what the baby looks like, but like how the baby is received in the world is like doesn't really matter because we're just excited about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You're not actually pregnant. You know, we're speaking metaphorically.
Yes.
You can breeze over things
I'm
sometimes.
so sorry.
Like that's such a weird thing to be like, well, we're pregnant, we're excited
I'm
because
so
the baby's
sorry.
ready. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We aren't fucking pregnant.
Farthest thing from.
No. It's
Good catch on that one.
The baby's already been delivered. It just hasn't been delivered to the world yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're just having family time right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, the reason I'm so proud of it is because the spirit we made it in. We make all of our films in that spirit, but this one really sparkles.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the plan. It just ended up happening that Joey shot the whole thing. You know?
Yeah.
It just was like the film dictated how we were going to make it. So we just had to kind of, what Neil Young does, just follow the muse, you know?
Yeah. With a camera we bought, 7 years ago too, where
Yeah.
we were like, oh, we should be able to make our own movies. And
Back when we were balling.
yeah, we're just like, let's spend fucking $5,000 on a camera package or whatever it is.
Yeah. I'm really proud of us. Joey shot the whole thing and edited it.
Yeah, mad props to Joey.
Yeah, so that's what we've been doing
And
the
he's
past
like
couple
a
weeks.
comedic relief throughout it too.
In the movie, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm like, this is gold. Like, this is so fun.
It's so funny because like during the making of the movie, maybe we shouldn't talk about it too much because
Why not? People are going to see it.
Okay.
We're going to put out this movie in the next couple days. And please, 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 if you see us put it out, all I ask, we put out a lot of free content, and Wooks is going to be one of those things. Please, just share it. Just share it. That's all I care.
And throw a little like on it and a
Throw
comment.
a like, a comment, a share.
If you're big on
means
Reddit,
the world
put it
to
into
us.
the Reddit verse.
Yeah, it means the world to us. Tweet about it. Put it in your Instagram stories. It means the world to us. You have no idea because a lot of times people just wouldn't even know we made something. So
Yeah. But I remember when we were making it, we were both like, "Oh man, Joey like is interacting a lot," and we're like, "Oh, how's this gonna play?" And then it like ends up being really funny and hilarious.
This film was a lot of letting go for me. A lot of letting go, you know, because you get used to your ways of doing things, and then we're like, wow, well, we can't really rely on those old devices that much for this one. This is pretty down and dirty. We're sneaking a camera. Like there was nowhere we were allowed to be filming this.
Yeah, and that's why having like a little camera that's like unassuming.
Yeah.
It's like looks like a photo camera.
Yeah. So we snuck the camera everywhere we went this summer and got the movie, and I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of us for.
Very excited for you guys to see it. I hope you like it.
Yeah.
Because we liked making it.
Yeah, it feels alive, and to me, it feels important to for people to get a glimpse into what people practicing freedom really feels like.
No, there was almost like temptation at times to call it something like wild and free or free. Like I don't think you ever.
No. What are you kidding me? That was like this film like really helped me become a better filmmaker in so many ways because I had doubt at every single part of it. You know, at first, like I put up barriers that I had to keep. Then being like, all right, I guess that's not the case. Like at first, it was like, all right, I got to raise some money and then we could shoot Wooks. We can't just make another one on no money. You know, I got to raise some money, and then it was like, fine, we'll shoot a little bit, then we'll raise some money. And then we shoot, and I'm just like, we already got the movie. Let's just try to edit it. And I like had doubts about that and thought about like, okay, me and Joey will look at the footage, we'll pick our selects, then we'll get an editor involved. And then it's just like a couple days of picking selects. I'm like, we can do this, you know? And then just take away that.
And then we're like, the sound's fucking fine.
And the whole time in the edit, we're like, all right, we'll bring this to a mixing and color correct. And then it comes time to send it off to someone else to do a mix and a color correct, and we're like, let's just do this ourselves. There's only so much you can do. We shot this in such a raw way. There's only so much.
And then also, like, we are making movies and in between projects and going to be working more next year, but this is like, we're a little bit on austerity, but like, that's no excuse to not put out art.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I'm proud of us, really, because we're broke right now. And we put out 2 movies in 2022. we haven't fucking made proper money in years, and we put out 2 movies. So it's good. It's good. I'm as free as a bird now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are a free bird.
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to be one too. You know, I always admired that about you. Like, oh, Sean's a free bird. Like, and I just need to
He
love
doesn't
him.
worry.
Yeah, I just need to love and accept him for that. And he's going to keep it moving. And, you know, I think it could feel threatening to be with someone who's such a free bird. Like, oh, shit, like I could get left behind or something like that. Like he's going to follow the muse. But then I just more embraced that energy for myself. And I'm like, damn, I'm having the most fun life of my lives. And there's really like, I admire the people the most who, like Neil Young, who we've talked about a million times, like follow the muse.
Yeah.
And they're kind of unapologetic about it. And like, yeah, you could get your feelings hurt or whatever it is, but ultimately I want you to be a free bird because like you're this human in this life and I want you to feel free and follow your muse. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm like very grateful.
I want that for you. What do you think I've been trying to teach you all these years?
Yeah.
If there's one thing I've been trying to impart on you, is like, let's fucking pop into Freebird mode.
Well, there's a quote in the movie that every time I watch it, it kind of reminds me of like, this guy says, whatever way you're pulled, walk.
Oh, I love that.
And it's like so simple. And it's like, okay, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that. Like, I don't have to think too hard about which way I'm going or why I'm going there. It's like, I'm getting pulled here. And so I'm walking here and it's fun. And
yeah. And try to show up with your judgment dialed down a little bit.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like our judgmental tendencies start to take us away from the Freebird lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm really happy right now I feel like a lot of reasons, but I feel like we also found like a partner in Mare who's like very similar. Like she embodies that Freebird energy.
It's crazy that we found each other.
Yeah. And like, it's just, I think possession's a part of it, but it's really like more about like wanting to see each other shine. And it's just been really cool. And I'm just having like so much fun in that relationship. And I think in relationship, you have to like sort out a lot of stuff, but it just feels so good that it's like, oh wait, we're 3 people doing this dance together and it's like working and it feels really fun and we love each other. And I don't know. I don't think that's a small feat.
It works so well. I don't even question it.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, you know? Yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome. Like 3 artists and 3 people, like it feels like a band.
And I think we were also talking about this, the reason that it works so well is because like we've done the 3-person thing before and it killed us. It has killed us because it drained
me in a way I didn't even know it was possible.
Yeah, it was really sad
I
to see.
didn't know it was possible to be that.
Like drained, lost of luster, like feeling like so indebted and
the mojo's gone.
You're always disappointing or whatever. It's not fun. But I think the reason it didn't work is because we were like, oh, we're 3 people and now that's it. That's what we needed to do to be different. We have this desire to be different. We have this desire to be free. So being a 3-person relationship is that. And that's the roof. And so now we'll do the thing everyone else wants to do. Have a house, have a family.
Mortgage, dogs,
whatever.
kids.
And it started to like kill us. And we were like, because it's like, there is no roof to the freedom. There's no like, oh, you get to this place and then you're free. As soon as you think that you're at the top level of freedom, that you're trapped.
Yeah. You're actually in a prison cell.
You're actually in a prison
cell. And you were the whole time.
Yeah, right?
You know?
Right?
Yeah. And that's definitely like what other relationships in general have felt like in my life.
Totally.
You know? This thing that we have going on, I think, like we're rewatching the Grateful Dead documentary right now, Long Strange Trip on Amazon. And it seems like that's why they were able to do their thing for 30 years. It's like they all got together. They were into the same substances. And there was one person in the band that didn't take acid, and he ended up drinking himself to death.
R.I.P. Pigpen.
R.I.P. Pigpen. But yeah, they were into the same substances. They had a very similar way of looking at life. And Jerry had no problem speaking into existence, I want my life to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all you've ever heard from me. Before I even knew about Jerry, that's all I would ever talk about. Our life needs to be fun and funny. And it's something to do probably with like getting older and not wanting to embrace responsibilities or all the things you're supposed to do.
I mean, you also were like faced with a lot of like serious, unfun things as a kid, and like
I want to reclaim my childhood in a way. I want to reclaim not even my childhood. That sounds so lame, but there's a lot of things that you leave behind in your childhood. You know, there's a lot of fun, and the spirit of it can be carried on throughout your life.
Yeah.
And I feel like I wasn't doing that, so I needed to start kind of like saying this mantra over and over again.
I think you and I are so similar.
Fun and funny.
We both grew up like too early or something, and
Yeah.
we're kind of too serious. And I was like, I'm a student against destructive decisions, and spent a lot of my college years knitting. And my mom was always like, be young, have fun. And I like finally was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be so serious. Like, we're here. We don't have to be serious. Like, humor feels like the zest of life, you know?
I want our life to feel how it feels listening to Grateful Dead. Like, wow, anything could happen. They could take this anywhere, you know? There's complexities to it. There's, there's laughs, there's tears, there's the whole spectrum of things, but we're not scared to try things.
This is like the simplest quote. I don't even know. I had to look it up. Jerry I wrote it down last night because it says, being alive means to canoe. Being alive.
That's a good quote.
Sorry.
Being alive means to canoe, but
Sorry. Yeah, the simplest shit I write down and then I can't even say it. Being alive means continuing to change, to continue to change. And so there's something about that, like, that education isn't this thing you get and then you're done and you're like, oh, I'm educated now. It's like an ongoing process, like continuing to change who you are, who you think you are, what you think life is about. You know, this is like, we're human experiencing life in itself. And it's like, you want to, as Jerry continues to say, like, wants life to be flowing and dynamic and not about like, I mean, he ended up leaving a giant monument, even though he said that's not what he wanted to do or needed to do. But I want to be like a completely different person when I'm like 75. Like, I want to be like surprised by where my life goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to have no clue how we're going to be in our 70s or 80s, you know.
Or where we're going to be. I mean,
yeah.
And
or who's going to be with us, or how, like.
We talk a lot of shit for two people who have like pretty much lived within, an hour of where we grew up our entire life, but
I don't think it matters where you are.
I don't think it matters.
Adventures can be had anywhere.
I don't either. I think it's a state of mind.
We holed up in an apartment for 11 years.
And it was an adventure.
And it was like, someone should have made a movie about that fucking place.
Damn, sometimes I kick myself that I didn't like take more photos of every wild motherfucker that came through there. But what do you need that for?
What the fuck? Well, here's the thing. You just got to live a life where
you're not
where there's so much action that you're not thinking about, like, let me go back and look at pictures from 2006.
Let me cling to my memories.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, once in a while I'll get like, oh shit, I don't save everything on the iCloud, and all the photos from the last like 3 years are on this phone, and once this phone's gone, it's like all those photos are gone, and I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I don't want to be fucking looking back. I don't want to be I don't want nostalgia to be like my dominant currency. And that's why I think we don't really like alcohol, because that like really brings up this nostalgia.
Definitely. And it's a similar poison. It's like an emotional poison, I think. Like, because it's been so commercialized and commodified, and like, I don't know. Our nostalgia is fed back to us, and just over and over, and things get rebooted and regurgitated and reunited and just like all this stuff, and it just creates a cultural stagnation because there's so much money to be made off of the good old days.
Exactly.
And these are the good old days.
Every day is an opportunity to make a new memory and to have fun and to have a different experience and see the life and see the world differently, and rather than being like, oh, I remember when I was happy. It's like, no, today, now. This is like a conscious choice that we have to make as people, because no
Yeah.
one's going to make the choice for us.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that's what's terrifying about being a free bird
Right.
is that is it's on you at that point. And you realize, wow, there are no rules. I can do whatever I want with my life. I can make it into whatever I want, you know?
Yeah, and even within the confines of a job, like
Yeah.
I like when I've been on jobs, I like to take the job and make the most fun of that job that you can.
Of course.
The relationships you have with people, like the opportunity to go deeper with people.
The small interactions you have
Mm-hmm.
with people, the big interactions you have with people, the
Yeah.
way you treat your parents, the way, you know, you treat your partner, the, you know, and it's all about, and this is why we're like, you just become more and more unemployable, because it's just like, once you've tasted that, the other thing is so, it's like eating Burger King, you know? It's like, okay, I guess this is food. I'll do it. But and people can adapt to eating Burger King all the time. But that's what the other thing feels like to me. You
Yeah.
know? It's like, oh, I'm selling myself short. I could be doing better for my soul. My soul obviously yearns to express itself.
Well, that's why we love the Wooks. And find ourselves very, very much in a similar state of mind and a state of being.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
why I love this movie, because it's a classic, one of our Trojan horse films, you know. It's like, you could watch it and just be like, holy shit, fuck all that. I can't do it. And people will watch it and leave horrible comments and all that stuff, but that just means we got to them. But if you watch it in a way where you don't otherize and you just say, okay, I have this in me. Like, something that they're doing resides in me. It's just a lost island, you know, and I can't navigate my way there. And I feel like what these films help people do is navigate, like, how do you fucking bring online your inner wookery that's just begging to express itself and begging to be a little bit more wild and free.
Yeah, and celebrate that there are people that are doing that out there, because it's not necessarily right for everybody, but it is cool that there are people who are like, yeah, I'm gonna live in my van, or I'm gonna make it work, or
Yeah.
you know.
Who do we think? Who do you hold up as a high priest of the?
The FREEBIRD movement.
Yeah, I think of our friend Jake.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he runs
Number one FREEBIRD.
Yeah, yeah, and he gives me such hope because he's older than me. He's like 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
Still fucking very much doing it. Very much, you know, and he's doing it. He's not partying. He's not like, he did all was
the party. He's always being like, fuck it, I'm gonna fly to London to go to WWE or whatever this weekend,
yeah, exactly.
or whatever. Like,
yeah,
there's this magic show, or just, you know,
yeah.
just really playing by his own rules.
I'm gonna go see Nickelback in fucking in Madrid, and then there's an MMA fight and fucking wherever. I'm going over there and like just free as a bird, and gets by throwing concerts.
And vasectomized.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Talk
don't know.
about
Hopefully, he
being
doesn't
a
mind me
free
saying
bird.
that.
Oh no, that's a great fucking. I think that's a great quality. If you've gotten a vasectomy, to tell women, like, you don't have to worry about me in that way.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't trying to fucking plant my seed here. Not on this planet. But yeah, I always hold him in high regard. You know, and you need these people. That's why the Grateful Dead's been so helpful to us, and why, like, going back and watching this 5-hour documentary about them over and over again to kind of just reinvigorate that thing in you and remind yourself, like, oh, they did it over the course of a career. And no one even fucking, like, it just built and built and built, and they're more popular now than they were when they were in their prime. How is this possible?
Yeah, and I think, you know, I think we get confused about the best way to serve people and serve the world. And I'm not saying I know the answer, but I see something in what the Grateful Dead did is, like, they could have served the record company.
Yeah.
But they served their soul and ultimately served many more people because of that.
Yeah. And their record company hated them.
Hell yeah.
And it's okay.
It's okay.
That's fine, you know, because they can all just have a laugh about it now, because they're the most legendary band that's ever been on Warner Brothers.
Right.
Like, yeah. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's pretty rad. It's very inspirational for me. you know what fucking really got to me? I mentioned this in passing we were doing a long ride up here, and we always have to rock out to Freebird. You know, we love Leonard Skinner in general. And I think that is if there was one song that is like, what's America? I would be like, Freebird. Like that's this country summed up in a song. It just contains the feeling of all the best things about this place.
Yeah.
So we were listening to it, and you know, it's like the running joke through rock and roll history since that song came out that drunken fools shouted out at shows.
Yeah.
How many shows have we been at where
Free
people are
bird!
Freebird? It's always the drunkest guy in there. And I told you, I was like, you know, one of our favorite bands, Built to Spill. Fucking some guy shouted that out, and they played a 9-minute, perfect, ripping, ridiculously fire version of Freebird.
Yeah.
And you found it on YouTube last night, and I was just like, God damn, Built to Spill might be like very high in our list of favorite bands.
They're literally my favorite right now. I'm like all about it because they do pretty much to every song what I wish every band would do to their song, which is totally melt your face off with guitar solos and shit like that.
Yeah.
We're just like, whoa, that's like, I think that's maybe my favorite medicine, you know, the stripping of the ego a bit, just to like surrendering to sound.
Yeah.
They dominate me, you know, and got like a little fucking submissive thing, I guess, with it, where I'm just like, all right, I'll take it. I love it.
And Doug Marsh of that band, he's the only member. Like, it is his thing. So it does remind me of Neil in the way of like, he just rotates out the members. He just needs new inspiration.
Yeah,
it's
where
like,
you could say that's like tragic, but is it not more tragic to stay in a relationship that's not working?
yeah, it's way worse. And talk about crushing your soul.
Because like, who are you to think that you're in a relationship with someone that's not working, that they need you to stay miserable in a relationship? That's ridiculous. Like, if you're miserable in a relationship, you're not freeing yourself by leaving. You're freeing the other person to find someone who like loves and honors them for who they are. Yeah.
Well, and he helps free these musicians because they sign up for this not thinking like, oh, cool, I'm set for life. I'm in Built to Spill now. It's like, no, you're on a tour. That's it. Fucking have fun. You know, add pepper something in that's you to this band. That's why he recruited you for this, and it's different every tour. Right now, he's like the Freebird, and look this up. It's one of the fucking best things ever. Just look up Built to Spill Freebird. That's a band from like 2001. 20 years later now, and that's like a 6-piece band. Big, huge, fucking crazy sound. Now he's on tour with 2 babes, a bassist and a drummer. Just him, a bassist and a drummer.
The last album's like my favorite. I'm like on repeat.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to go see them in New York City with us, April 21st, 22nd.
Right around the high holidays, right around Bicycle Day and 420.
We're really hoping everything aligns for that.
3 shows. Could be a fucking legendary weekend.
Yeah.
You know who else you've been going crazy for?
Melvins.
Oh, well, we'll mention them. Another band. That's another band. It's become a running joke how many bass players they've cycled through.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Melvins have been Dale Crover and King Buzzo are the 2 members from day one. And Dale's the drummer, but he's played bass, too. And King Buzzo is King Buzzo. I mean, just absolute icon. Yeah. Absolute fucking icon. And they've put out ridiculous amounts of music. Like, ridiculous amounts of music. And it's all over the place. It's amazing. We were rocking out to them. But who you've been having a moment with is the Pixies.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Can't deny them. It's good to shout them out.
No, when you turn me on to the fact that they're like loud and then soft, which is like obvious if you listen to it, but that's kind of it's like a formula, you know, of like really intense, and then that's kind of the melting that I like. Is like, it's kind of like a relationship. And kind of like our relationship. Like, we're hard on each other and then we're really sweet on each other. Yeah. And you know, it's like, it helps keep it dynamic because we're not like, I don't know, just stagnation in any department seems to be what kills the soul, unless maybe you're meditating or something. I don't know. But
but when you're meditating, you're not stagnating.
You're not, definitely.
You're processing. You know, it's the opposite of stagnation. It's like digestion. Yeah, it's mental digestion of what's going on in your life, and it's a deep form of listening. And you can't tap into any of this stuff if you're not listening. You know, before I was listening, the Grateful Dead sounded like shit to me. Yeah. Yeah. And so did all the people that we've filmed over our career. All would have been otherized, and no, that ain't me, and this and that. And through the course of our career, I'm like, oh, I am everyone. Like, it's very, very psychedelic.
Another part of we watched the first 3 episodes last night. Another part of Long Strange Trip that they were talking about, like, obviously Jerry in the band, and everyone was really influenced by, like, On the Road, Jack Kerouac. But this whole concept of, like, discovering America, and, like, something that is, I think, a cornerstone of our filmmaking. Like, we're Americana filmmakers, you know,
Yeah.
who have traveled the whole country and want to, like, we have a lot of ideas of how to continue to discover and explore, but this idea that that's something that's unique to America.
Yeah.
And, like, one of the guys was saying, like, in London, like, if someone in London or England and this isn't going to go out in search of England,
Yeah.
you know, they're like, we've built in this country where we can go in search of something.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, not to take this to a dark place, but that's the tragedy of how uniform everything is. Because we've done the Driving America thing, and it's really only the people that are different. You have the fucking Chipotles and Walmarts and everything. Like, you could be in any town in this fucking country, and you're like,
feels exactly the same.
Feels exactly the same, which is pretty sad.
Yeah. But if you dig a little deeper,
Yeah.
and you just settle and you listen,
Yeah.
you can find the places and the people that will reinvigorate your soul and bring your faith back a little bit. Like, yeah, this is a wild place, and we're a young country. You know, there is no let's go out and in discovery of England. They've already figured that shit out.
Well, they fucking went in on discovery of the fucking whole world and dominated and colonized. And
yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Yeah, and we're currently doing that.
Totally. Goddamn.
Yeah, but I think that is that's something I became keenly aware of, like maybe 6 or 7 films deep. You know, I think we're on like 15 or 16 now.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, if we keep this going, we'll create a beautiful mosaic of fringe Americana. You know, somebody 20, 30, 50 years from now will be able to watch our films and get a real sense of what this place was like.
Yeah, we're making a digital quilt.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta pee.
I gotta turn the heat down. I'm sweating.
Okay, cool.
I'll be right
Let's
back.
take a little break.
Back to our quilting.
Yeah. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you.
Thank you. I wouldn't have obviously been able to do it without you.
I wouldn't have even comprehended, you know. I think, like what I was trying to say before about, like, that level of freedom kind of sets off, like, a scary feeling. And it does for me. Even now, like, you see, I get fucking totally spooked. I'll get totally fucking spooked out of nowhere. And I'll plunge headfirst into my more masculine qualities and start yelling and trying to control things and, you know, just manhandle my life. And that ain't the way. So it's good for when we're feeling like this to do a podcast.
To express it.
To express it, you know.
Yeah, because I think we've had these moments where we're like, fuck, we lost our mojo, or all our good times are behind us, or, you know.
Yeah.
And I think we've been on that dance so many times that, like, I think during our lulls we have a little more faith now.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that I went through the level of heartbreak I went through with our first attempt at throupling. It really fucked me up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that whole situation and the way it ended. It still could bother me if I started to really think about it. You know, just how you go from like being best friends with somebody to like now they hate you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really got the best of me. And for the same amount, like the relationship lasted 8 months. I did 8 months of like hardcore grieving, questioning myself, telling you I lost my mojo. I don't even know what to fucking do.
She stole it.
She stole it. You know, all this like, all this stuff that is just very convenient excuses to just wallow in self-pity. And that ain't a good place for me. And at the time, I couldn't imagine being on the other side of it. You know, but now I've gone through something like that, it helps me navigate everything a little bit better. Just knowing everything's pretty temporary,
Yeah.
And, you know, at the time I was just like, this was just, it just devastated me in a way. Like, not that I even wanted to be with the person anymore. I didn't. You know, the
You
relationship
guys
was
were
over.
not bringing out, we were not all bringing out the best in each other.
No, I didn't. I did not want to be around her anymore. I didn't want to be in a relationship. I didn't want to talk about it. But there was something that I felt just wasn't right. I just got lost. You know, I had to go through a hero's journey through grief because I feel like I had never done that before, and I had experienced a lot of loss and tragedy and even breakups in my life, and never really processed them. I just kept moving on, and then this thing happened, and it fucking totally got the best of me for like 8 months. But it made me a better person. Now we're 5 years removed from that, and I'm like, oh man, I'm way better off for having gone through that. You know, so you just got to kind of stick with it. It really helps that I have my life partner to kind of go through this. If I would have been doing that alone, I don't know, I'd probably still be wallowing in those feelings. But there's no way. I mean, people can't steal your mojo. You can only give it to them. They can't steal it, really.
Well, it's not your mojo or their mojo. It's the mojo of life. It's life force. It's joie de vivre. It's flow. It's energy. It's creativity. It's so beyond something that you possess or contain or control or anything. It's like it's an open heart. It's an open mind. It's
Yeah.
an enthusiasm. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, I'm pretty sure Ram Dass talked about this. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure he's the original person who talked about this in my life. Was just that we get obsessed and addicted to the connection. You know, that, like, meaning you have a great time on LSD. Imagine, like, being like, well, the only way for me to feel spiritual is with LSD. The only way for me to experience the depths of love is with this person. We become obsessed with the things that opened up something in ourselves.
Yeah, you think that they're the connection to you feeling something.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they're
exactly.
just
That's
like,
the only way you can access those feelings. And the truth is actually kind of the opposite. Like, those feelings were always available. You just needed something to trigger them, but you don't always need that. You know, you might have needed that person or that thing to even show you that real estate exists within you, but you don't have to become overly reliant on whatever the vehicle for it was.
right.
And yeah, when it's people, it's a dangerous game. You know, it's a really dangerous game. You got to really be careful about giving away your mojo in that way. And when we got together with that person, I was like already 10 films deep, had already been like lifetime achievement awards at film festivals, this and that. And I was like, I'll start my career over again. I'll start from scratch, whatever. And the three of us will make movies together. And I don't know what we'll call it, but whatever. That's what we're doing now. We're starting from square one. And then to do that and be like, I'll sacrifice. I'll make sacrifices to the trajectory of my career to kind of start over to accommodate this person. It's a big commitment and a silly one, you know.
Well, it's like being in a band. Like, bands, it's a tough dynamic, I think, probably for people. Yeah, I don't know. I think it taught us so much about who we are and what we are, and like not in a way that I want to like cling to like this is who Sean and I are and this is what we need, but I think having like a little bit of awareness of like what your priorities are or how you work like allows us to like meet someone like Mare and have like a really beautiful relationship because we just found another artist and we want to create art with her, but we also know that her art is has very independent qualities to it, and so do we at times, and that we can like have these moments where we really come together and co-create. But that I think co-creating, when it's the only way you create is with another person, that's where you can kind of start to feel chapped because you're like your creativity kind of feels like because if the relationship isn't going well, then the creativity feels like it's not going well. So it's like that's why I'm so glad that not only on top of filmmaking, like you're playing guitar, and that's not something that I can do or take away from you. You don't feel like, oh, I can't play guitar if Cass doesn't do something
Give
for
you
me.
permission to.
Yeah, or whatever it is, you know. So, yeah, I'm in the time it can feel really hard, but the heartbreak is always like really important. rebirth. You know, it's a death. It's a mourning of who you thought you were, who you thought you were going to become. And that's where I think the breakup with a relationship is like so devastating, because at the time I'm like, oh, she didn't like you either at that point. You guys didn't like each other anymore. Like there was just, you weren't liking qualities about who you were. And then, but the devastation on top, not you didn't, you still loved each other, but the devastation really came on like the clinging to this like life that we had built and planned together.
Yeah.
And I think that's what also has also led us to like really embracing the freebird nature, because I think this relationship with Mare, not that we don't make plans and stuff, but it just feels like such a gift that we don't need to cling to it and say like, well, we're going to be doing this in 5 years and this in 10 years and whatever. And I don't even do that with you. I'm not like, this is what we're going to be doing in 5 years and 3 years and this and that, and clinging to this. Okay, we have this pinnacle life and we're going to work towards it together. And it looks like this.
Yeah.
We're like, no, we're going to create and co-create and have fun. And it's more about like, what do I, and this is what you taught me so much and so well, is like, what do we want our days to look like? What do we want our days to feel like? What is a high bar for a day? And when we do that, I'm not saying we're immune to heartbreak at all. But that I think I think people overpromise things that they can't deliver on because they don't even know who they're going to be next year. And I think that's like kind of the trap of marriage and our traditional trajectories, is like, you're promising these things and I don't know, it's a lot to promise.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not conducive to free birds like ourselves, I guess.
No, I mean, it very much can be. You know, I feel like we're in a relationship now with Mare where I'm experiencing feelings I didn't even know were available.
Yeah.
In my 40s.
It's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Me too.
Love is a crazy thing.
Yeah, it really is.
And, you know, I don't know, for me at least, it brings out my better instincts, which are not to judge, let go, just show up with love and kindness and try to be sweet and realize like life is short. It's not worth fucking fighting all the time and arguing and fucking digging your heels in on someone. It's just like, it's not worth it. I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
No, I'm learning so much because like Mare's so smart and so capable and so committed to the same aspirations we have of having fun and being creative, that like, yeah, we go through periods where we're not maybe as tight or something, but like I think we both respect each other to know like our problem isn't with each other, it's with ourselves, and we're just going to work on ourselves and try to show up better.
Yeah.
And it's like been really cool, and at times maybe we don't communicate as well as we should.
No, we do.
Well, me and her.
Oh, you're talking about you two.
Yeah, and hopefully she hears this and then I don't have to communicate it with her directly. But you know what I mean? Like sometimes, you know, like I don't, because we just want to have fun. So sometimes it's hard to be like, let's have a down and dirty conversation and like
I know.
burn out these assumptions or burn out these fears or whatever it is. But I don't know. I like had that the other week where I was like, oh, we have to have a real talk. And then we just saw each other and we just had a great time. And I was like, oh, we're fine.
Yeah.
What are we? We're fine. We love each other. We have such a good time.
Yeah. The communication can happen on the verbal level, which is sometimes very crude and can be misunderstood.
And then you get trapped in these words, and I don't want to get trapped in something she said. I don't want her to get trapped in something I said, because like that's just a representation of who I was in that moment and the fear I had in that moment.
Yeah.
And so do I want to like reverberate these fears or whatever?
Well, that's the whole thing, to set up like the bylaws of your relationship around your most scared moment is like it's the opposite of FREEBIRD.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, I'm protecting the scared version of myself, so I'm going to try to change you. And
it's so funny
instead of adjusting.
I think it's funny because a lot of people would assume it's like my fear is like about possessiveness over you or something, but it's like there's such. I feel like people, until you like fucking do a poly or a throuple or whatever dance, you can't even understand the level of complexity of the relationship dynamics that go on, and they're not like the idea of jealousy is like so basic.
Yeah.
It's like level 1.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you already slayed that dragon.
I mean, not completely, as I'm sure it's still. Don't get too cocky. Knock on wood.
No, I know. But I know you're aware of that feeling and how it permeates out into everything, and I think you're just good at nipping it in the bud. You know.
Yeah. It's not fun to be jealous. It's not fun to be scared. So like, why give like a lot of attention to those feelings?
Jealousy is just one of those low frequency. It doesn't vibrate at a high frequency of consciousness. You know, it makes you feel awful, and it makes you do things out of fear and your ego. You know.
Yeah, it's really just a tool for like knowing better. It's like a tool of awareness. Like, oh, what am I jealous about? Oh, I'm jealous about, the fact that this person's more free. It's not like, oh, well, do you want to sit in the jealousy of being jealous that they're free, or do you want to figure out how you can be more free?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a gift.
Oh yeah, all of it is. Especially those more low frequency vibrations that bubble up. They're such a gift because you're like, oh cool, here's my imperfections, and that's fine. Let me see what they are. Let me see what they're made of. Let me examine those a little bit, and hopefully make some adjustments. You know, no one has to make me make adjustments. I make them because I don't like feeling like that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's these beautiful microdose acid weekends we're having or what, but I just feel so much love in my heart. I feel like, you know how your nephew goes like, I want to give you all the love in my heart.
Yeah.
I have so much. I'm like, that's how I feel right now. I just feel like I have so much love in my heart and I want to give it to you. I wish I could give you all the love in my heart, or you have all the love in my heart.
You're very generous, I will say. You make people feel great.
Thanks. I hope so. I want to make people feel good.
Yeah, people love your love, all the love in your heart.
Well, you taught me about it because you're such a lover.
I am.
And I used to be like, damn, this is like kind of annoying. Sean's like, doesn't have any other gear besides lover, you know? Like, it's kind of hard to be with like a guy who's like idols on love all the time, you know? Because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
You know? And then that was making me suffer, you know, just being like, can you stop being so goddamn sexy all the time, or whatever it is?
I can't turn that shit off.
But like then realizing like, oh, like what was that Stones song? You're like, this is the song that I like when I walk in a room, like this is what plays. Like,
Can't you hear me knocking?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's like a really fun game, I guess, is to be like, what is the song? What is the
If your life was
soundtrack?
a Martin Scorsese movie or a Wes Anderson movie for people that are younger, what would be the slow motion you're walking into the movie for the first time? What would be the song playing?
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, Can't You Hear Me Knocking by the Stones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope. And it's cool to kind of identify that, like, because you're identifying your desire on how you want to be felt in a thing, and then you can kind of just rise to that.
I haven't nailed mine, but I'm not sure what mine is entirely, but it definitely in that genre, right? Maybe in this moment is the Iggy Pop Fall in Love with Me.
Oh, yeah.
It's because that one's really good, but it's like kind of, that's what like we're saying in life, and I'm kind of just being unabashed about it, is like, okay, yeah, I want people to fall in love with me. I want to love people and I want them to love me. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing to acknowledge or to celebrate even.
Yeah. And I think both of the artists and songs we're talking about are like, they're not cloaked beneath layers of metaphors and, artistic trickery or whatever. It is what it is. It's just fucking right there, Fall in love with me.
You wish you would. Bottle of white wine.
Great fucking song written by David Bowie.
Yeah, so good.
Off of, Iggy Pop made 2 beautiful albums with David Bowie. I wish they would have collaborated more.
Yeah.
David
But
Bowie.
we have those.
Yeah.
I mean, I have 3 of my favorite songs are on that. Fall in Love with Me, The Passenger, and what's the other one?
Lust for Life.
Lust for Life. I mean, that's another one. I'm like, maybe that's my theme song. I don't know.
That's a good theme song.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. Yeah. No, it's cool to identify your theme songs. I mean, mine's always changing, but if I just had to nail it down and pick one, it would be that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could pick a new one every day. Mm-hmm. So, if anyone wants to share with us their theme song,
I think it's a great way to get to know somebody.
Yeah.
Is like ask them, like if we had a guest on the podcast, ask them that. You could realize so much about someone. You know their music tastes, you know.
Well, and I think realizing something about yourself, because like
Yeah.
I can so get into a mode where I'm just like, okay, I'm in a room with new people, or like, and not remembering to like offer something or to be present or whatever it is, and by being like, oh no, I'm a song, like I'm something, you know.
Yeah.
It makes you want to show up, I think.
And also we've talked about this before, but you're a drug too.
Yeah, you say that all the time.
Yeah, people are drugs, and it's like, what kind of drug do you want to be? Do you want to roll up in a room like you're cocaine? Like, I don't know, some people dig that. We have a lot of friends that are cocaine. They come in and you're like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Let's fucking start a business. Let's do this. Let's do that. We're bouncing off the walls, you know. But I like showing up as like weed or acid, you know. In the long term, I'm acid in your life. In the short term, I probably feel like weed.
Yeah. Like in a moment you're weed, but like
Yeah. But if you spend some time with me, like the ride Mare's doing, or you,
well, even
I think
just,
it's acid.
Yeah, just even I think choosing to do life a little differently is acid, because that's what acid is like a dissolving of boundaries and rules and expectations of what life is about, and like kind of a reprogramming.
Yeah.
Of that.
A rediscovery of more possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh wow, I thought I hit the end of the line. There's a lot more possibilities here, actually.
Right.
Yeah, and just being a reminder of that. That's what I want to tune my little meat ship to.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else you got? I know you gave a bunch of notes.
I don't know. They're all weird ones.
We're podcasters. We're here podcasting.
Okay, let me see.
It's cute. Whatever your notes are, you got to just read them because they're so cute. You know?
I mean,
just shout them out.
No,
Just
I
read 'em.
already said all of them except for the other day we were driving up to Maine, and there's this bag of popcorn that I forget what it's called. It's called like Buddha popcorn or something, and it's like got this Buddha on it, and it says your moment of the like slogan was like your moment of traffic zen, and it's like this bag of popcorn with a Buddha on it, and I just like it just hit me in all the like I'm like, people actually believe this shit.
Yeah.
That they can order a bag of popcorn, which think of how much space popcorn takes up when it's blown up into a bag, and how easy it is to make at home.
Yeah.
And that we ship it from God knows where.
Yeah.
With all that, like with that much space and that much gas and that much packaging, so that you can be in traffic having your moment of zen with this Buddha that you like. It's this like consumerism.
Oh yeah.
I just was having a moment where I was like, that's kind of funny to think about. Like, it just was like one of those most like, I don't know. I really like looking at ads and just being critical of them.
Yeah.
And just being like, wait.
I mean, we got going in our ride up here, and we were both just very triggered by all of the awful Christmas decorations on the way up. These the inflatables, really.
I'm sorry if you guys have inflatables.
It's all good.
It's all good. We
it's
love
all
you.
good,
It's
but we're
fine.
just gonna talk a little shit.
We're gonna talk shit. It's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, what?
Well, because they're all fucking like dead corpses, like half not blown up, and they just look like these like symbols of like capitalism, just like strewn across people's lawn, like fucking plastic crap. Made who knows where, shipped from who knows where, and then they just like to work they need to be running like constant air and electricity and lights, and it's just like, oh my god. And
what's it all about?
No hate, but they're fucking hideous, man. Like,
they're hideous. Like, so how did this get started? It's like someone started doing this, and then people, you know, it's the suburban mentality of like, oh shit.
Well, I think it's this way of like,
I better do
it's
that.
like, how do we commodify and simplify this nostalgia?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh, I thought what was beautiful about Christmas is like, and the holidays is like, we're generous.
Mm.
We create things, like we kind of make gifts or, you know, get creative, spend time with family. And now they're just like these monuments to capitalism on everyone, dead monuments to capitalism on everyone's lawn. And like, look, we're not against people self-expressing. Like, I think there should be the guys who have 100 of them, or you can have
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
you
yeah.
want, but overall, it's just like
It's fucking depressing.
depressing.
Because it's just such a symbol of like lack of creativity. I think that's what triggers us both. Like you're just driving through neighborhoods and you're like, everyone has the same dumbass Snoopy, 10-foot fucking Snoopy inflatable dressed up as Santa Claus in their thing, and it's like sitting there fucking deflated for half the day, and it's just like, it's just ugly. And I think it's perfect metaphor for
Yeah.
the deflated soul, the crushed soul, the like, okay, cool, it's Christmas time. I don't have time in my life to make something or be creative or even be generous or whatever.
Or string up the lights
Yeah,
around
yeah,
the
yeah.
tree,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
put the trim, or
Yeah.
yeah. Damn. It is funny how where we're at, the stage we're at. But then with that, there's also like this, the opposite exists, the people being like hyper mindful and hyper creative, and
Yeah.
and
Well, you
that's
got to go
what-
in search of it.
yeah.
You got to go in search of it, and that's what keeps us making documentaries and making art. Is like otherwise that kind of shit, because we both noticed it and didn't even say anything to each other until you finally were like, these fucking inflatables, and I was like, yeah, we both have that instinct. And man, if we didn't have the outlet of filmmaking and art, how crushed by all that we would be, or magnetized to it, God forbid, like the pull towards normalcy in this country is fucking crazy. Everything is just trying to push you towards that wagey lifestyle, that like suburban home with your fucking all the dumb shit and your fucking live, laugh, love, and the fucking just wine glass art, like just dumb shit like that. You know what I mean? The pull towards that is something I think people, it happens to them unbeknownst. They just are like, all of a sudden they're like, whoa, what the fuck? Why the
Yeah.
hell am I having a goddamn wedding photographer over my house every weekend to celebrate my kid being 5.5 weeks old? And you know what I mean? Like what fucking, all this stuff that we start doing is like unchecked societal norms. They just get us further from the heart of the matter, which is what we're here to do, which is walk each other home, be good to each other, be generous, be kind. It's hard to do that when we're all on the grind so much.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a pull towards normalcy that comes along with it that I think is probably at the core of our I would just call it a despair epidemic, the things people are having to do to get through, which is drugs. Whether the pharmaceuticals are giving them to you or the streets are giving them to you, I think people need a little something, because this place has become, I would say, just an extremely unsettling place to live in. And it's cool. It's cool. Like, keeps us on our toes. We're a new empire. We may be an empire in decline already.
As AI bots have told
Yeah,
us.
and it's a very unsettling. It's a very unsettling place to live if you're truly tapped in. You can have your head up your ass and skate through life or whatever, but to really like reckon with what this place is and what it's all about, and we don't even have a government. Like, I guess we do, and people are, the fuck the government isn't that? It's like, we don't have a government. Governments are meant to serve the people. They don't do that. They're here to fuck the people. Our government is here to fuck the people and do the bidding of corporations. And corporations are entities that are, I don't know, I think just by default, a very nefarious thing. And
Oh man, the amount of sick days that Congress gets compared to like these guys who like with the train strike,
yeah.
Like they're like saying, "Hey, we want like 6 paid sick days." The amount of sick days that fucking Congress gets, I'm like, you fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Like I can't even think about it.
Yeah. And what is our government always able to do very quickly? Everything else, so it's like, oh, we're deadlocked. Oh, I don't know, we couldn't get the votes, this and that. When it comes around to fucking the workers, they get the votes.
Oh, they're deadlocked
Both
on
sides.
that one.
Yeah, both sides.
Deadlocked
somehow.
into yep.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, totally. Help this company, Amtrak, which is setting record profits every quarter, and let's screw the workers. And they're about to go on strike. Well, that would disrupt the economy too much. So we have to pass a law real quick saying they're not allowed to go on strike and they have to meet the terms of their employer. Isn't that
Crazy.
insane? Is that not a dead giveaway of what this whole thing is? Like, that's the whole thing. Like, if you play close attention and you're not totally gripping to some fucking indoctrinated ideology, you can see this place for what it is, and you can start to adjust your life to make it more joyful for you.
Yeah, that's what like Jerry was saying. I'm just gonna quote Jerry a
Hell
lot
yeah,
of this.
fucking why not?
Was just all like it wasn't enough for them. Like there was like the American dream, like they just like saw through it and they're like, this is not enough. This isn't hard.
Yeah,
You know, going to work, like, yeah, work is hard and it kills your soul, and for that reason it's hard. But
it is hard.
It wasn't like it was an easy choice.
Yeah,
And that's not what they wanted. They want something that was more like on the edge of something that was interesting, like going towards having an interesting life, going towards the weird, going towards the exploration, like that, the fun of it all.
yeah. I mean, it's a good thing to talk about, I think, at the end of a year, you know, and starting a new year. That could definitely be part of our resolution.
Do you have any end of the year resolutions or beginning of the year resolutions or anything like that?
Me and Joey were talking about getting off nicotine, and I think we'll help each other do that.
Cool.
So that's good. But yeah, I want to lean more into this because I think we're on to something with the way we started to really see the world in this year and the way we started to evolve. And I want to be not scared to just lean more into that. And we've made some heavy choices in order to maintain the illusion of freedom in our life. So, you know, right now I think we're in a better position than ever to practice our art and build community and have something unique to say that this doesn't feel like a regurgitation of like the popular thing at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I second that.
Did I lose you?
I just don't know what to add. I just you fucking nailed
Well,
it.
what are your resolutions?
Oh, I don't know. I asked the question before I thought about it, but I think it's probably the most basic one there is to have, but I want to commit to using my body more and moving my body more. And I know that's as
That would be
basic as
rad.
it can get, but I would really like to stretch more, build muscle. I mean, I'm going to be 35 next year, so pretty sure it's all uphill from there as long as I use my body.
If you use your body, you can't let it get too bad to
Yeah.
begin with, because it's really hard to get back as you start getting into your...
Yeah, so I want to feel strong.
Yeah.
I want to feel strong, and I want to make time for that. And I'm going to keep it simple with one resolution.
Oh, yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. But this year was really fun, like going on more hikes and playing tennis, like
Spent more time outside than ever
did
before.
more camping, which we loved.
More
And
camping
that
than
was
ever before.
I will say that's a successful resolution that I had, which I was
Yeah.
like, I want to camp more, and we did that. So
Yeah.
I want to keep that up. Always want to make more art.
Mm-hmm.
Love harder, love deeper.
Spend more quality time with friends.
Yep.
You know, try to carve out time to spend days at a time with our friend group.
Yeah, and more
it's very
quality
inspiring.
time with family. Like we spend a lot of time with family, but I want to figure out ways to like make it as quality as possible.
Yeah, yeah. I think what we're both keenly tapped into is that this is a very temporary experience. And
Life.
And like you always say, like, get while the getting's good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and right now, it's the youngest we're ever gonna be.
Yep. Yeah, and also like everyone with the pandemic or is like, wow, this is like the climate change or whatever. It's like always like, oh my God, this is the warmest year yet, and it's like, no, this is the coldest year to come.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, exactly.
Like, kind of absorb it, realize like. Enjoy what's going on, because you think it was, I'm not saying I'm praying that it gets worse or that it's going to get worse. It's just like you don't know what life's coming for you in life. So
It will keep dishing out pain and challenges, and
it's pretty inherent.
yeah, and you can use those to grow, or you can use those to contract. So it's a pretty simple choice in the moment. And like
As
I
Bill
just
Hicks
described,
says,
what?
life's a game.
It's a ride.
It's a ride. You choose love or fear, and it's I mean, I'm not going to recap it well, but you know what I mean. Life's a ride, man. I'm like Steve at the end of American Sunset.
Fool
What's
me
the
once.
thing?
What's it gonna
What's it going to say? Life's a ride. Yep, life's a ride. But it's exactly that.
Yeah, enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride. Choose love.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Be a free bird.
Yeah.
If you want.
Yeah.
If not, we still love you, and it's cool. I don't know.
Cool. Well, this was fun. Join us for more on patreon.com/churchofchill. Tons of bonus podcasts. We do like a little extra. We go on there after our free episode and just get a little looser and wilder. So there's tons of podcasts on there.
You have a music show that is like the juice of my life.
Yeah. Church of Chill. That's the sacrament. And we have Boys Club on there, which is just silly time with me and Joey. Mm-hmm. I'm very proud of those episodes.
I think that was a key component, like building that part of your life, like led to also the collaboration you guys were able to have on the film.
Oh, yeah. I love collaborating with Joey. I think we see the world in a very similar way. He inspires me. He's a Leo. He's very extroverted. And so it helps. That's, it's been fucking awesome. So patreon.com/churchofchill, and you can also join us on our Discord community through that. And our movie Wooks is coming out. Probably by the time you hear this, it'll already be out. So, please bless that with your attention. That would mean the world to me. We worked hard on this one.
And it's my favorite. So they're always the new one's my favorite. It's the way it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. We're Sean and Cass. This is the Church of Chill. Peace, love, and magic.